Well, time now for us to delve into the review. Joining us, our guests, Wisdom Dugbe is a financial analyst. We also have Kojo Poku, Kojo Nsafua Poku. Let's see whether he holds the keys this morning. He, of course, is an energy analyst. He's also on the energy committee, head of the energy committee as far as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign is concerned. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning and happy new month.
Happy new month to you too.
How are you?
I'm well. Kojo, how about you?
I'm very well. I mean, I haven't had enough sleep, but that's the nature of the work that we're doing. So we are on the road trying to get to Ghanaians and preach the good news of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Well, you're not the only one not getting enough sleep. Sometimes the work and other things keep you awake. But how is the campaign going? Where have you been in recent times? And what can you, so to speak, report? Today you are a correspondent from the places you've been to. So tell us, what's been happening?
Well, then I might as well be sending my check for my alawa if that's the Joy News correspondent for Dr. Bawumia campaign.
I'm giving you a slot,
I'm
giving you a slot to talk about what you guys have been up to. And you are telling me that I should pay you for giving you the opportunity to talk about that. All right, go ahead, Kojo.
Well, we successfully finished the Western region. We ended at Awasa, Kropong, Memphis Central, and went very well. And then we entered the Western North yesterday. And yesterday we did the Bia area, the Bia East, the Bia West. And the reception from the cocoa farmers was immense and tremendous and beautiful because they love the increment in the cocoa prices that we've done and the support that we've given to the cocoa industry to date. So last night. So it's been a great tour and the reception is beautiful. Look, these kids are up and you see the energy. And like I've always said, this election is a youthful election and that will carry the day.
Right. Let me come to you, Wisdom. You have not been on the campaign trail, but I know you follow the dynamics in our country a lot. What do you have to share with us this morning? And Kojo, just to confirm, are you done with what you have to share with us by way of the 1 minute or so we give you, or would you like a take on that again?
That's right.
You got 4 minutes. What are you talking about? You got 4 minutes.
Okay.
Kojo, your connection is not so good. So let me go to Wisdom. And I didn't hear what you said. If you do have something else to talk about.
Yeah, I'm okay. For some reason, it just started pouring cats and dogs just as we started the program. So I think that will affect the network a bit. But
okay.
Yeah, I heard you.
All right. I thought for a moment it was raining elephants and umbrellas, and maybe butterflies. All right. Let me come to you, Wisdom. Your take.
Yeah, Ben, I read about the Bank of Ghana launching the Ghana Gold Coin as an investment vehicle to ease up the pressure on the city, as investors buy and hoard the dollar. I think it's a good move by the Bank of Ghana. For some time now, it looked like the Bank of Ghana, they were struggling a bit with a policy. I mean, when it comes to coming up with sound economic policies to address inflation and the depreciation of the city. But this one, I think they might have gotten it right, and we must commend them for that. I say that because gold coins are known to stabilize the local currency, providing stable value benchmark, which could potentially restore confidence in the city and also reduce volatility. It is a good hedge, Ben, against inflation, and it diversifies monetary tools, which allows flexibility in managing money supply and also ensuring economic stability. And of course, it is a boost to the local gold market also. However, I think that investors need to know that perception sometimes is that when a central bank pushes gold coins, right, as an investment option, there is that perception of a loss of control. And it may be perceived as a lack of confidence in the local currency, which it is, I get that. But that unfortunately can lead to, potentially undermining the Bank of Ghana's authority and credibility, which is not always good for investor confidence.
All right. I have read a number of people saying that while this may be some positive move, it is not a cure to our inflationary situation, the inflationary pressures that the city keeps feeling. And of course, we know that there's still an uptick. And if you look at the Swiss franc, if you look at the euro, the pound, the dollar, the movements are still problematic, especially getting into the last quarter of the year. In fact, we are in the last quarter now, and still the situation being like this. Professor Bokpin of the University of Ghana Business School, for example, wades into this and says this is no cure. But of course, let's see. I've read all the stories about this, as many as I can, about the 1 ounce, is it half ounce, quarter ounce denominations. And these, of course, are not like, these are 99.9%, dowry gold. So let's wait and see what the impact of that would be.
Absolutely.
But gentlemen, let's get...
Your point, it's not a cure, right? It's not a cure. We're in the last quarter, you're going to see a lot of volumes going up.
Right.
Because trade has to pick up. We're going towards Christmas season, and people will need dollars, not gold, right? To be able to import and all of that stuff. So to your point, you're right.
All right, so let's get into the stories. The Daily Graphic newspaper. Gentlemen, so let's let our comments be incisive, not too much back and forth, so that we can do as many stories as possible. So you can also talk as much as you want. The Daily Graphic. Alan promises to audit mining licenses. Springfield secures rig to appraise Afina oil field. Nation secures $30 million UAE grant for forest conservation. I saw this story yesterday, and I was a bit distraught. And I'll get into it. Get licensed or shut down. Trade Minister directs cement producers. Then, on the back page, GFA to invest $2.8 million World Cup earnings in 40-bed accommodation. Ayo, pictured there, Kurt Okraku. In this picture, he looks a bit tired and all that. The work will not be easy. But at the same time, Mr. Okraku, I want to find out what happened to the 200,000 plus given to you by CAF to take care of our pitches, ahead of the qualifiers and all of that. And we had some millions. We've had some millions. And that may not directly go to the GFA, for example. That one, National Sports Authority, Sports Ministry. What happened to the around 40 or so something million that we had for, renovation and some work to be done on our stadia? Because that incident is still a blot on our conscience that in Ghana, we can't find a proper football stadium for our players to play in. It's whenever I remember, it just, like we say here, it busts my brain. But let me start from there. So the Ghana Football Association has disclosed that its net share of earnings from the Black Stars' participation in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar stands at $2.8 million. This sum, which will be invested in legacy projects, forms part of the $9 million Ghana received for reaching the group stage of the global tournament. Of course, President of the GFA, Kurt Simeon Okraku, made this revelation yesterday when he appeared before the Youth and Sports Committee of Parliament. Then GFA justifies $100,000 bonus payout. So a member of the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association, Randy Abbey, has staunchly defended the decision to pay $100,000 to each member of the Black Stars Management Committee following the team's participation in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Speaking before the Youth and Sports Committee of Parliament yesterday, Mr. Abbey argued that the payment was justified given that none of the 5 management committee members received any monthly or sitting allowances for their services. In his view, bonuses were paid whenever success was achieved and held that it was right that the committee members should also be rewarded. Randy is my, senior brother in many respects. And in some way, you could agree with him that, yes, this and that. But when he talks about bonuses were paid whenever success was achieved, I don't know about the success of the last campaign at the FIFA World Cup. Or was it beating the South Koreans? Was that enough to be chalked as success? I think I want to take your thoughts on the footballing aspects before we get into other stories. Kojo?
Yeah, thank you, and good morning to your viewers as well. Look, I have always said that the GFA is a private association. Just that we are so passionate about football that everybody tend to basically weigh into football and make it look like it's a government-run institution. It's not. It is private and it's an association, and they do as they wish and they do as they like. There isn't much that anybody can do. The unfortunate part is that we keep pumping money into their activities, and we have zero influence on what they do. If you would, in the future, come and ask government for support to go to some of these events, then you get a windfall. Instead for you to save it for a rainy day, you decide to now share it among your members and call something success. Yes, nobody's saying that maybe your buy is so low that just the mere participation is a success. So maybe that's what it is. But I honestly say that, look, there's a lot that needs to be done with GFA. And I have always shared this view that we give too much to a private association that is not accountable to the government the way it should be. And for me, I think CAF and the FIFA should fund everything through and through, and everybody should leave government out of GFA's activity. It's unfortunate, but we keep having government in the middle of basically Premier Leagues and the Black Stars and all that, but which it has nothing to do with government. Just that because of the passion of the people, government tends to find itself in the middle of this. But then that's the result of what you get. $100,000 goes to the pocket of people who did not kick a single football.
Wisdom, any thoughts?
Look, Ben, I couldn't agree with Kojo more on this one. Sorry, Kojo, I mispronounced your name. Look, I'm not against anybody making a lot of money for as long as there is value for that money or there is performance, so to speak. You asked the right question, so I'm going to make my comment very brief. What is the success they are talking about? If they had made much success that you can link directly to their performance, then we can say that they deserve to be paid that money. Because even the Bible says the worker is worthy of his remuneration, right? That's what the scripture says. But if you are not working, or if you're not producing results, I don't believe that you are entitled to that kind of bonus payment or whatever payment that is. But to Kojo's point, the money is coming from somewhere, right? I think it makes absolutely no sense to continue pumping money into an entity or venture when they cannot render an account to you or when there is no accountability or transparency. So I think this should be a wake-up call to the authorities.
All right. Let's get into other stories now. Alan promises to audit mining licenses. And let me start with this one. Get licensed or shut down. Trade Minister directs cement producers. Now, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, has directed cement manufacturers to secure licenses or halt production immediately. The minister issued the directive last Tuesday to the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee, set up last year to regulate the industry for prompt enforcement. The directive follows the coming into force of the Ghana Standard Authority's Manufacturer of Cement Regulation 2023, LI 2480, which mandates existing companies to re-register and secure a license and prohibits new factories without a license from operating. Of course, this would also come on the back of cement prices, the hike in cement prices, and some people, including Chinese manufacturers, and I don't like stereotyping, but some of these other nationals come to our country and do. You cannot dare go to their country and do it. And sometimes you ask yourself, are watchdog institutions? And I'm not necessarily condemning the GSA, the Ghana Standards Authority, and the FDA, the Food and Drugs Authority, for some of them, because it's not just cement I'm talking about. But sometimes you ask yourself why it takes so long and why people can sometimes get through the cracks for so long before we're able to nip the situation in the bud. Then I'll go to the Alan Kyerematen story before I go on page 16. So let's go to page 13, shall we? Are we? My throat this morning is deciding to do its own thing. Now, independent presidential candidate Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen has pledged to revoke all mining licenses issued in the last 15 years when elected as president. He said that will be followed by a thorough audit of all small-scale and community mining licenses issued within this period to clean up the corrupt system that had allowed illegal mining to thrive. In addition to the ban, Mr. Kyerematen said he would oversee the demobilization of all mining machinery across the country, especially those used in small-scale and community mining. Under that intervention, the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces would oversee the dismantling and safe storage of such equipment to prevent further illegal mining. Of course, we know that he's been talking about his 10-point blueprint. There's also this final one. Let me just get into it. Or maybe let me pause there, because in addition to that, I want to add, gentlemen, we've heard recent comments that have got us a bit concerned. The MPP, and one, we did it in the news this morning, an MP talking about the fact that it's the other side, the opposition, that wants to make us look bad with illegal mining. And so pay no attention to them. They want us to ban it so that we will lose votes. But we will not ban it today, we will not ban it tomorrow. Then, only yesterday, at the launch of the NDC's Women's Manifesto, you also have the running mate of the NDC saying that they will train people in how to do galamsey in a sustainable way. Galamsey itself, by its name, is illegal. So I don't know whether this was properly considered, thought through before some of these statements were made, because there's small-scale mining, which is a totally different thing from galamsey. It leaves us scratching our heads and very worried about galamsey and the positioning of our political parties. I'll start with you this time, Wisdom, on your thoughts on the matter.
Ben, I think Professor Jane is absolutely right. We can assure folks, right, that there is a responsible way to mine small-scale mining.
I just want to take you back briefly. You just said we can assure. Are you a part of the campaign?
No, I'm a Ghanaian.
Well, why are you not noticing it? I'm surprised.
Let me find out from you.
That is the most important thing.
When the man met with John Mahama and always said, I mean, I'm surprised you are now noticing this.
Let me give the horse his due to speak on his own. Look, are you a part of the campaign?
No, I'm telling you, I don't know why you just noticed it. He's always been.
Look, I've always been in the center. I've always taken very neutral positions. But this is what I wanted to say, okay? Professor Jane is right. They can make sure that we have responsible small-scale mining to train and not destroy our water bodies. We can also pursue alternative livelihoods and reduce dependency on galamsey. But let me segue and comment briefly on what Dr. Afriyie said. Ben, Ghanaians have been saying this for a long time now, that government is complicit when it comes to the menace of galamsey. Honorable Dr. Ayu Afriyie, he just confirmed that Ghanaians, what Ghanaians have known for all this while, that government is in no mood to ban galamsey, only because of political reasons. Why are we all acting like surprised by what he said? We knew that there was no political will in the first place. That is why we can't trust our government on these things, Ben.
But is it not for the same political expediency that Professor Opoku-Agyeman is also saying, oh, we will tackle this and allow you, we'll train you on how to do it? Is that not the same point? Is it not about political expediency? Can we trust them? If you say we can't trust these people, can we trust them?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I'm not talking for Professor Jane, but I believe that what she meant to say is the small-scale mining. But in Ghana,
well, unfortunately, she didn't say small scale. I listened to the news yesterday, midday, on radio, and I was taken aback when I heard the story because I was wondering, did she mean small-scale mining? But that is not my job. It's not up to me to put words in their mouth. Whatever she said is what will be reported.
That is what she was referring to. There is absolutely no way that Professor Jane would condone any form of illegal mining. That I can assure you.
Wait, Wisdom, I have a question for you. Wait, I have a question for you. The small-scale miners already have a setup. Some of them are not doing the right thing, yes, but they have a setup. They seem to, by and large, know what they're about. Is it not illegal miners, rather, who, because of a lack of knowledge, go haphazard and destroy the environment? That leads me to think she must have been referring, indeed, to Galamsey, not small-scale mining.
I have a different opinion. I strongly believe that she was referring to small-scale miners.
Okay.
Especially the youth that have been at home and have no other work opportunities, and so they take up mining, and they are illegal. I get that part. So those ones, we can train them, give them the license if they qualify, if they have the companies, they have the training, they have the facilities in place to mine safely. I believe that is what Professor Jane was talking about.
All right.
But Ben, this is the issue. We are in a state of emergency, and the president needs to declare emergency or call it out. He needs to speak out. It is indeed a transnational organized crime, as Professor Kwesieni put it. This is the thing. We know that some of our leaders are not serious about fighting this menace and saving our lands and forests and water bodies. And this is one of the monumental failures of this administration, Ben.
Okay.
We need to start from the root cause. Quickly, we need to start from the root cause. Let's face it. Most of these people who work in these illegal mining operations, they do so because they don't have jobs. That's what I was saying earlier on.
Okay.
And the professor also talked about.
Right.
Some of them, that is the only livelihood they have. So let's train them and let's find alternative livelihood for them. That's how you can.
I think your point is made, Wisdom, Kojo, on those same points. Now, you've decided not to speak on the cement manufacturing bit, but that's fine. Let me come to you,
I have a few comments on that after.
No, it's fine. It's fine because of time. Kojo, let's go.
My brother, let me go on this tangent that my brother just went back and forth with you on. The fundamental issue on the ground is when people refer to Galamsey as everything. That is why the Association of Small-Scale Miners came out heavily that, look, let's not class them as Galamsey, because everybody refers to mining in the small-scale mining sector as Galamsey, be it illegal mining or legit.
And that is a problem that may explain what Wisdom is saying. Maybe the running mate got it wrong because her understanding of it is Galamsey covers all of these. But I still feel it's a bad mistake. It's a bad mistake.
What is good for the geese is good for the gander. That is also explains what Dr. Friye was saying, the MP for Fijase. It's the same thing. Okay? It is the word Galamsey that is used, because if you read the full thing that he said that we will not ban responsible mining. Responsible mining is small-scale mining. The Small-Scale Mining Association has come out to say that, look, let's not give them a bad name. It's like hanging a dog and giving it a bad name. Or you don't understand?
Giving a dog a bad name and hanging it, of course, you have to do something first.
Giving a dog a bad name, giving a dog a bad name to hang it and flog it. So the issue, and it goes on both sides, is that everybody use the word Galamsey.
Right.
And Galamsey is meant to refer, including the small-scale miners. So the right thing which Professor Dr. Friye was also saying is that we will not ban responsible mining. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has gone out and give out reasons, including the minerals bank that he wants to form, giving equipment and basically investing in geological survey for the miners. So they are not doing try and error like the way they are doing now. Give them the scientific data to know where the gold is so that they will mine responsibly. Okay, so look, I would agree to extend that is the education to the populace that's important. We need to educate the populace that when people say Galamsey, it's not all about illegal mining.
Okay.
They refer to, so when we say we will not ban Galamsey, it means that we will not ban illegal mining. We will not ban the legitimate guys.
Right.
Right. The problem, though, the problem with what Dr. Friye said is he did not just say we will not ban it because of this, because of that. He made specific reference.
Before you go on to say the problem,
let me finish my point, Kojo. Let me finish my point.
Okay, so Wisdom, the point you're trying to make, for the sake of time, you're trying to make the point that he said it, adding that it's for political reasons. And that they will not do it because of political expediency.
That's what I wanted to say.
All right.
That's exactly the point.
Kojo.
Yes, but hold on. There is a thing. hold on. That's the point I want to make. Ben, there's a tape. Nana Jane tape. We can play that tape.
There's a
Nana Jane Mensah is in the Western region saying exactly the same thing, that if you think the NDC will ban Galamsey, then you are out of your mind. He said the same thing.
I would like
the NDC will not ban Galamsey today or tomorrow.
But Kojo,
the connection is a bit bad. Gentlemen, please, let me regulate this. Kojo, the connection is bad, so I lost a bit of. You say who is in the Central region saying that? Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman.
In the Western region, Nana Jane Mensah.
Jane Mensah is the EC
in the
chair.
Western region saying there's a tape and Galamsey, then you're out of your mind. Which he's talking about the illegal mining that they are doing. That they won't ban it. There's a tape out there. Everybody can go watch it on TikTok.
I don't believe Professor James.
Wisdom, I'm going to cut you again. I keep losing you at the time you are mentioning the name. You mentioned Mensah. Is it the running mate of the NDC you are referring to? Kojo?
Oh, sorry, yes, the Professor
okay,
Nana.
Because you mentioned Mensah, so I got confused. I think you were mixing her with the EC boss.
Sorry, Professor.
Okay.
Sorry, Professor.
Right.
Professor Nana, the running mate of the NDC, was in the Western region.
That's not
made
true.
a clear pronouncement, and it's on video,
so
on social media.
I have not seen that. What I have seen or heard is the one from yesterday, the Women's Manifesto. So if you have this video, maybe you could share it with us.
One way before I can send it to you, Wisdom. Next week we can play it. I can send it to you.
So you can send it to me. You can share it with me now.
Right? In all of this,
if you have it, share it with me now.
I believe that. Just 10 seconds. I believe that. The
very phone that I'm zooming on.
So this is the thing. In all of these things, I believe that it will help a whole lot if the president can go on record and declare a state of emergency. It is critically important where we are at this point.
Right.
The nation's nobody's
going to
it is affecting infrastructure development. People are getting sick. There are reports of cleft lip. Babies are being born with cleft lip. The president needs to come out and declare a state of emergency.
Okay.
Because it's a national security disaster at this point.
All right. Let's get into other stories very quickly. Nation secures $30 million UAE grant for forest conservation. And the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has signed a letter of intent with the United Arab Emirates government for the grant of $30 million to provide additional alternative livelihood support for forest fringe communities. The project, which will be implemented by the Forestry Commission, will be used as an incentive for the communities to engage in enhanced forest protection, forest restoration, and reforestation. It forms part of efforts by the government to achieve the biodiversity and climate objectives under the Resilient Ghana package launched at COP28 in Dubai last year. I find this funny. Not funny from the standpoint of doing the right thing, afforestation, reforestation, whatever you want to call it. But we like to do these things, Green Ghana, and then from one end, and from the other end, the same political actors are doing Galamsey. Recently, when our president was heckled, so to speak, by some demonstrators, Ghanaians, when going to the UN General Assembly to deliver, it painted a sad picture, but it is the situation. So for me, when it comes to some of these things, I want to see what the impact will be, because throughout, from Operation Halt to blah, 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 we all see the water bodies. So let's not pretend. And this final one I'll do on page 17 will deliver on our mandate, EC Chair assures. Ahead of today's crucial Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting, the Electoral Commission has urged all political parties to present any discrepancies or concerns they have about the Provisional Voters Register. That, it said, would enable the EC to further clean the register and rid it of any discrepancies. It said the EC considered the register a national document and urged all parties to collaborate with it by presenting details of any lack of congruence to enable the EC to produce a credible and robust final register. That is the story there. And I want your quick reflections, gentlemen, in no more than a minute each, so we can get into other papers. Kojo, starting with you.
Yeah, Ben, like I'll try and get that video to you. The unfortunate thing is that the phone I'm using is a very phone that the video is on, so I cannot basically stop the Zoom and get that video. But
That's
look,
fine. That's fine.
we've all heard we've all seen the demonstration, we've all heard the noise. This is the time where the tie catches the road. Go to IPAC and produce your evidence. It's very simple. We've always said that the place where you need to resolve these issues is on the grassroots and also in EC. So with all the noise and with all the demonstrations that has gone on, today is the day of judgment, the day of reckoning. The NDC are supposed to carry their evidence to IPAC and show the whole world what they've been talking about.
But,
so I think
when you say this is the day of reckoning, not necessarily. This is not what they called for. They said that it was also possible.
Well, nobody's going to give them what they
It was also possible to do this. This was an alternative proposal.
Well, that is what they advised.
Kojo, can you let me make my point? Can you let me make my point? They said that we, the parties, can come together like this, but we'll have an independent entity in there as well. After our deliberations and everything, they'll also look into the matter and then give a verdict. That is not what is happening today. So this is not where the buck stops.
Essay Dunketia advised us that it's not necessary, and that one too is on video. I'm sure you've seen that video where Essay Dunketia says that no. Essay Dunketia said that no individual person can, and no third party can come in and start pinpointing who is dead and who is not dead. And if he pinpoints Kwabena Japan, he used Kwabena Japan as an example. When Kwabena Japan is alive, that video too is out there, where Essay Dunketia advised the whole country the way that these things should be done.
You are talking about before 2016, right?
Sorry?
You are talking about before 2016, right?
We are talking about 2016,
right?
Not before 2016.
So let's say, fine. Let's say that was the case then. Should we continue with that now, especially when in 2016, ahead of the elections, there was an audit?
Yes.
Was there an audit or not?
The case. What has changed?
There was an audit then. There's no audit now.
There was no audit. There was no audit. The audit was the exhibition. The only audit is the exhibition. And that was what the NDC made sure existed during under our sister Charlotte Osei. So what has changed?
There was an audit, Kojo, but there
wasn't. The only audit that existed was the exhibition.
For the sake of time, Wisdom.
The exhibition has been done, we move on. Nobody knows.
Wisdom, very quickly, let's move on.
It's very simple. They can either go and give the evidence at IPAC or don't take part in the election, whichever way MPP is winning.
Wisdom, you have a minute. Let's go.
Ben, look, I saw the statement from
the EC. And not more than a minute, I beg of you, within 1 minute.
You know, I saw their statement declining to grant an independent forensic audit of the voter register to determine if the issues were all cured. And hear this, the EC's communication said that they have largely, listen to the word they use, largely, they have largely corrected all the discrepancies. When we are talking about a critical democratic process, like a national election, largely it's not good enough. You need to assure the voters, the political parties, and all stakeholders that you have fully, not largely, fully rectified all the issues. I cannot in good conscience take the comments of the EC that they have fixed this largely, right? I can't take that to be good enough or assurance of the credibility in a consequential election like this one that is coming up in December.
Okay.
The EC is also saying quickly, they are also saying that they invite the NDC and all the stakeholders to discuss to the discussion table at the IPAC meeting today to demonstrate and prove to them that the issues are being rectified. To be honest, I think that a good approach is that one. That could be a good approach also. But why can't they simply allow or support an independent forensic audit?
Because the law does not allow that. There is no law in Ghana that brings an independent party to edit the EC. That's simple as that. What are you talking about?
They answered that.
Gentlemen,
they also answered that. And they mentioned that the production of
there is no law. Where there is no law, we can't allow. When there is the law, we allow it. Please.
This is
what they said. Quickly.
Gentlemen, no. There's no quickly anymore. The time is up. Please. We can't keep doing this. But Kojo, the bit about there is no law that says this does not neutralize the fact that there could be this. And there have been instances in the past where there has been extra scrutiny on this. Let's not go with a bit of there is no law. It's not everything that is in black and white in the Constitution. That you should know. Let's get into other stories and end the conversation. Daily Guide newspaper. It talks about the $30 million to protect forests. And I know that is... When pigs fly, let me leave it at that expression. Abri Girls headmistress, daily guide, we could have used passes or something, in Italy, and may her soul rest in peace. Saglemi housing project begins November. That's according to Kojo Nkrumah. I'm interested in finding out what the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, who was on my show on many occasions and vowed that they would not allow any entity to take over the Saglemi housing project. I would like to find out what his reaction would be, maybe someday when I speak to him soon. But Minister for Works and Housing, Kojo Nkrumah, has announced that work will resume on the stalled Saglemi housing project in November this year. Initiated under the erstwhile NDC administration, the $20 million project came to a standstill. I think they mean $200 million. Came to a standstill after a value for money audit revealed that only 1,506 units were completed instead of a total of 5,000. It goes on, but I've read that there are some shortlisted entities, including two, that seem to be making some inroads. What I'm also concerned about, some of these private entities who may be showing interest, if there is a switch in government, how that will impact all of this. It's just a few months down the road. Of course, the benefits, it has been decided that whatever government has invested in the past will be government's stake. That is what the NDC invested in it. And whatever this private entity will invest will be its stake. So stake based on how much investment has been made. And then whichever government comes, will take it from there. But I don't know, with the positioning of the NDC, if they were to win, whether that would see the light of day. Haptel debunks false ECG contract claims, some claims made about sums of money, and I think the president's daughters in the past. I believe that was Okujeto Ablakwa. Economy Times, commercial banks to begin selling gold coin. Government records lower budget deficit. And banks to cut lending rates. All of that in there. The final bit I'll add, just for quick reflections. I just saw Musa Dankwa of the Global Info Analytics putting out the latest poll. And it's interesting because just yesterday we were reading another one that suggested that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was in the lead. Well, the final field poll conducted by Global Info Analytics nearly 2 months before the December 2024 poll shows John Dramani Mahama, leader of the NDC, maintaining his lead in the poll with 51.1% of the votes. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 37.3%. Alan Kojo Tremantin as well on 4.1%. And Nana Kwame Bediako also on 6.2% and others on 1.3%. You know, with all these polls, I just say that come election 2024, we'll see. We'll see the real sizes.
And that sounds about right to me.
So Kojo, let me start with you. You have 30 seconds. Wisdom, 30 seconds. If you don't stick to 30 seconds, I'll have to cut you off. 30 seconds,
You
Kojo.
see how Wisdom now said that sounds about right. Look, get out there and campaign and let this Musa Dankwa be chopping your money. That's all I have to say to the NDC. Look, on the issue of the Saglemi, it's good news. I don't know why you think that a new government will have to start and repose and all that. Look, that has been the case when we have these contractors coming into the country and they don't have confidence in the process because they think that government might change and they might change the policy. It shouldn't be. Look, if we have value for money audit and the right thing is done and there is a tender, an international and open tender, why should a change in government affect that? That project has been long overdue, and I think that, look, we play politics too much with some of these national projects, and we should just move on and get it done.
Thank you. Wisdom, 30 seconds. Let's go.
Look, I'll tell you this. The whole thing about the Saglemi project is, I believe, is a national embarrassment. We play politics with everything, including a project like this, which will solve the acute housing crisis in the nation's capital. The initial goal was to build 5,000 housing units in this project.
And we built about 1,500.
Yeah. Now, but previous administration built 1,500, 1,005. Instead of this administration building on that momentum, we allowed 1,500 units to sit idle for almost 8 years.
I agree with you on that, but the cost value as well, that was problematic. But anyway, we have to wrap it here, gentlemen. Unfortunately, there's no more time to proceed on this. Thank you very much, Wisdom Dogbe, financial analyst. Thank you very much, Kojo Poku, energy analyst, for joining us for the news review. Up next, we serve you sports. Do stay.